How's it going, guys? Good to see us. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm just kind of watching the chat whiz by here. So yeah, if you're new here, remember hit that thumbs up, and I'm sure you already subscribed. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. So yeah, I just wanted to say hi to you. I hope I don't miss anyone. I saw Wilmer on there, Carver, Dave, James, John, Jerry, Ken, how are ya? The other Ken, Jerry. Chasko's on there. Good to see you, Chasko. Thanks for tuning in, man. We got Steve on here. Yeah, all kinds of yes. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Dave from Crooked River. There's Vinny. Hi, Vinny. Good to see ya. If I missed anybody, sorry, guys. There's Hastings, Anthony. Yeah. Oh, and there's Mark from M&M Rails. We got John, 2618. Wow. This is awesome. Gnomestead Railways. I'm a new follower to you. I believe I found you through Wilmer. So welcome. I don't think you've been on the show before, so thanks for stopping by, man. That's awesome. So, a decent show tonight, guys. A few things to talk about. I think last time I was telling you guys I've been really busy because I'm in the new band drumming, and so we had the concert on the weekend, and it went amazing. It raised a lot of money for the boys. What it was, if you guys remember, a friend of mine passed away, and so we decided to put together a benefit concert for his two boys that he left behind to basically put together an education fund. So we did that, got together with another band, and had raffle prizes and beer tickets and drink tickets and the music, and it just went amazing. And I believe it made over $14,000 from what I heard last, so we're really excited about it. So that was pretty cool. Another big thing with me, as you guys know, is the 500 subscribers. I finally hit it. It's so awesome, and for some reason it seems to be going pretty decent now. So the big question to you guys is, are you interested in a contest? Do you guys want to do a 500 subscriber contest? I had a couple ideas for prizes, but I thought we would run it by you tonight and see what you guys thought. Do you want to do another contest or not? That brings me into Wilmer. Wilmer's contest is going on right now for his. I saw his diorama come together the other day. I got to catch up on his videos for that. So if you haven't, make sure you get over to Wilmer's channel and sign up for his contest, because that diorama looks pretty sweet, and I really love that boxcar that he made. Yeah, thanks, Hastings. It was pretty awesome. It was emotional, but not too emotional night. It was a really great night. Everybody had a lot of fun, and it was just a real blast. Hey, Sparky. 11 minutes ago. Well, that's because I do the little commercial thing at the start, just to make sure everything's running and get it to kind of balance out. So yeah, I started at the same time I normally do. I normally put it on about 6:52, I think, and then I let it run. So yeah, thanks guys for being on here. I really appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to touch base on was Redbird Tony. Next week, instead of having Dave Thurber of Crooked River, we're actually going to have Redbird Tony. Those two switched. I can't remember. Somebody went on holidays and it got switched around, so it went really well. I got to tune into Dave's show last week, and it was a really good show. I liked watching it. I don't get to watch it too often, so it was nice to get to see it. So guys, nobody said it, so if you don't want to do a contest, that's fine with me. I got a few new like Mount Blessing. I don't think I've seen you in here before, so welcome. Good to see you. And Dwight, I don't know if you've been on here before. Yeah, thanks guys for joining me. It's pretty cool. Tonight I've got a bit of a show. I got a new little thing at the end that I'm going to try, but we're going to do our normal thing. We're going to do the normal show. We're going to talk about a town called Parkhead. That's pretty cool. So Sparky's saying a couple people said yes to the contest. Okay. So If I do it, I'm just going to do something easy. Like what we'll do is probably just do a draw on the next Creative Rails on Track Tuesday, something like that. And I think what I'm going to do for the winner, my plan was for the winner, let me know your road name and your era. And then I'm going to get something specific, and your scale, something specific for your railroad. That's kind of what I was planning. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff here. There. All right, so we're going to start the show. What we're talking about tonight is the next part of the layout. And it's basically the next part after the helix. So I still have to do the helix, and once I get to the top of the helix, that's where this next little town's going to be. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to go into the show section, and I'm going to move you guys over here so I can still see you. And I can see you guys, you're all saying you're always up for a contest. So that's good. That was from James there. And that's something I want to talk about too, is Sparky's shed. Man, he's really moving. He's making everybody look bad. I think he's already got the insulation done in there, and the spray foam's just awesome. So that's really great. And hey, Container Man, thanks for tuning in, bro. That's awesome. Good to see ya. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna start by telling you guys where Parkhead is. Just give me one sec, here we go. So we're gonna go into Google Maps. So it's kind of a funny story, because when I was a kid, I was born in Shallow Lake. Well, when I was born in a little place called Lead Rock. Then we moved to Shallow Lake, which was just down the road from Lead Rock. Then I moved to Owen Sound. And then when I was about, I would say 9 or 10 years old, we moved to the farm. And this is where the farm was, right here. So I'll zoom out, way out in the boonies, kind of get your bearings straight. I told you about where Owen Sound was last time. Here's Owen Sound right over here. So we'll zoom in. And when we first moved to the farm, there was an old man named Earl that used to own the farm. It was actually called the Hewitson Farm. And Dad bought it off of him, and we moved there. But the agreement was Earl was gonna still farm the farm. So Dad basically rented out the land to him. What we didn't know was that Earl was gonna become pretty well a grandfather to my brother and I. And what was really neat, when we first met Earl, I believe probably within the first few weeks, we would have so many questions. You know, we mainly grew up in Owen Sound, so kind of, you know, small town boys. Were really excited to live on a farm, learning about all the equipment, the combine, the hay buying, the plow, the tractors. So I'd ask him a million questions, and he was really patient with us. But I remember the one time, it happened a number of times, but the first time he said, "Well, boys, I think it's about time for an ice cream run." We're like, "What? What's that?" And that's when we go visit Carol and Parkhead, and we go get some ice cream. And that was my first experience with Parkhead. There was a little small convenience store. So I'm going to show you right now where it was. So here's something funny. What I'm modeling now, living on the farm, I had no idea that if you just went down this road, this is called the A line. If you look here, that's the old roadbed of the line that I'm modeling now. So basically we go down the A line and then up Highway 10. And you'd come this way. And if you keep your eye to the left here, you'll see something kind of cool here. This is Parkhead. And yes, folks, that is a Y. So I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. There it is. And what I'll do, I'll put the little man down here too. So you guys, I'll show you Parkhead. No, that's funny. It's so rural that Google Maps won't even go down the road, so I can't even show you where the tracks were. But right here, this is an old Esso gas station, and this is where we would get ice cream in the summer days. And I was a little kid, my brother and I, with Earl. And it was so much fun because he had this old Ford pickup truck, and it had a long, stick shift on it, and we kind of rumbled. And of course, you wouldn't wear your seat belts or anything, and had a long bench seat. It was so cool. So anyways, years later, I find out that Parkhead, this was quite a busy little spot. So here it is. So basically, this way here is going to Palmerston. This is north. This goes to Wiarton. And this way goes to Owen Sound. Okay, so if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back here so I can set up my show for you. Okay, so once again, guys, I'm featuring pictures and track plan mostly out of this book. If you guys get a chance to check this out, Ian Wilson, really cool guy. I've talked to him a number of times now, just over email and stuff. Really cool guy, but just a fantastic book. So that's what most of this is out of. So the funny thing is, when I was just telling you about, I lived in Shallow Lake, played hockey for Shallow Lake, lived in Owen Sound, lots of experience in Parkhead. I'm modeling all these towns, but that was actually never the plan or the intention. It just worked out that way, that Owen Sound was a perfect place to model, and everything around it worked out with the benchwork and the way the room was laid out. Okay, so I can still see you guys here. I'm just seeing what you are saying here. Salt on 2 bars and a small circle. How about fun? So Dwayne's saying, how about following the topic? I don't know if you're talking to me or to the chat, but that's okay. Whatever. So here we go, guys. We're gonna go into the show section. And of course, as you know, it's Parkhead, Ontario. So I just showed you the map of where it is, and here's the track plan out of Ian Wilson's book. So I'll remove myself there for a sec, just so you guys can see. I did put Ian's tag in there. So as you can see here, same thing what I just showed you guys. So this is to Palmerston. This is to Owen Sound, Wiarton. So what would happen is, this little spot ended up being really, really busy. And the reason is because it's basically a junction. So you would have passenger trains come heading north, going to Owen Sound, and what they would do is they would normally drop a mail car, sometimes a baggage car, sometimes even a coach, and they'd leave it here for Wiarton. So what would happen is the train would come this way, drop the cars, and most likely do a runaround and come back. Another train would be the way freight, the northbound way freight. If it had freight going to Wiarton, something else would happen. It would come through. If it had cars to drop in Wiarton, they would come up here, drop them, run around, hook back on the train, and then head to Owen Sound. Then what would happen later on in the day, it was mid-morning, I believe, the Wiarton mixed would come through. So this was, it would be a number of freight cars and then a passenger car on the back, normally a combine. So it would come from Owen Sound. It would come out this way. Probably leave, from what I saw in the pictures, it'd leave the train here, hook onto its cars, pull them out, hook back onto its train, and off it would go to Wiarton. So if we take a look here, I mentioned this a long time ago, but you probably don't remember. This is the track plan. So hang on, I just got to bring up your chat again so I can see you guys. Hey, there's John Dilly. Good to see you, John. Grandpa Rails. And I like your new name. Good to see you guys. Mark, there's Mark from Stu Structure. Hey people, once again, no notice, YouTube is slipping. Oh, well thanks for tuning in, Mark, I appreciate it. That happens to me all the time. YouTube's funny. We're gonna talk about YouTube later. But anyways, I talked about last time about this helix, so I don't know if you guys remember, but last time I was saying we've got a cool little scene that's gonna come out here. We're gonna have a bridge here out of Chesley's, because basically Chesley's underneath here, the part that you guys have already seen. Chesley comes around this way, and around this way, and then it's going to come around on a bridge, and then by the time we get to the top of the helix, we're going to end up here in Park Head. So this is the part where I had to use some modeling license. You'll notice it's a teeny bit different from the track plan. The main difference is on the prototype, this is Wiarton, so technically this way should be Owen Sound and this way should be south to Palmerston, but I had to use modeling license. I didn't have a choice. I did originally have a different track plan that did have it the right way, but I couldn't make it work. This was just way better, a way better use of space, and yeah, so I'm going with it. I'm sticking with it. So I hope people aren't too upset, the rivet counters and stuff, but that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's it. So right here, just like the track plan, this is the station, and this is the freight shed, and then the tool shed should actually be out here, but I just drew it in there real quick when I did it. So Sparky's saying, did the track go all the way to Tobermory? And then just, no it didn't, Sparky. It went only as far as Wiarton. It went to Wiarton, and then there was a turntable there, and they would just turn the engine and come back. And the funny thing is, originally Wiarton was the main terminal, and later on when the Grand Trunk originally built the line to Wiarton, and then when they built it to Owen Sound, it was later on Owen Sound kind of became the home terminal, and then Wiarton was slowly phased out, and then Owen Sound, I believe in the 70s the last train ran to Wiarton, and then in I think it was the 80s CN was the last train that ran to Owen Sound. I believe it was 86, but don't quote me on that. And then CP on the other side was the 90s, was their last train. So, another cool little fact about Parkhead, you're going to see why I'm really excited about modeling this place, is on August 1934 there was a fire. So the original Grand Trunk built a decent station in Parkhead, better than what was there after, but yeah, it burnt down August 19th, 1934. And from what I understand, it didn't take Canadian National very long. They brought in a coach and a boxcar. So you can see right here, here's the coach and here's the boxcar. So the coach was the station and the boxcar was the freight shed, and right here is the tool shed. So you can see it's an amazing little modeling opportunity. So up here we've got the lantern, we got a lantern here. So what I'm going to try to do is get these to be lit with little LEDs, and you just got the sign, the smokestack, and all this. So what I want to show you guys here is what I've purchased. I got this on eBay. It's this coach right here. The reason why I went with this, I couldn't find something that had the wood sides and this exact roof. Like I believe they call this like a clear story roof. I had a hard time. From the pictures, it looks maybe a little short, but I think it's going to be pretty good. If you guys go ahead and suggest if you can think of a company that has something a little bigger. If you counted, I believe I counted that had 17 windows and this has 15. I can't quite remember, but it's pretty close. So that's it there. So what I'm going to do is chop off the bottom, chop off all this, and basically strip it. And then it's going to be, it was painted in CN Boxcar Red. So pretty easy project. I'll probably just do what we were talking about before. I think what I'll do is hit it with gray and then do an alcohol wash, and then I'll do the hairspray and then a coat of the CN Red over top of that, and then do that toothpick method that we're talking about to give that peeling paint look that you can see in the picture there. So I'll put the picture back so you guys can see it. So that's the car. So you can see how similar that roof is. I think it's a pretty good, it should make a pretty decent model. Jerry, the GT was Grand Trunk. And Grand Trunk still runs in the States. So that's what I say to people when you want to do some of the modeling parts I use for my Canadian Steam. If you model Grand Trunk, Western, or if you model, you know, Central Vermont, a lot of that stuff's interchangeable because they would move equipment back and forth. Yeah, it was absorbed by CN. So it was the main railroads that Canadian National were Canadian Northern and the Grand Trunk. They amalgamated and the government got involved, and so some people call it the government's railway. Funny little story, there were some grumpy old men at the train club that I used to be at, and they used to call me a communist because I liked Canadian National so much. That's a true story. Because it is kind of a government railway, and some people consider it kind of socialist up here. So it's just something, it's a funny little fun fact. But anyways, yeah, that's that. So Sparky's saying that car should work fine. No one is going to notice a couple windows missing and 6 scale feet too short. And that's what I was thinking, Sparky. Unless I couldn't find anything to cut down, and I don't really want to get into extending this, so I think it'll be fine. It's pretty close. So yeah, I've got another picture here. I believe I just had one more picture. So this is out of another book. I think, Sparky, you have this book. I'll just take my face off there again so you can see the thing there. 2 Divisions to Blue Water. So yeah, this is I love this picture because it really kind of tells the story. So here we have the Pacific, number 5600. These are lightweight Pacifics. This is coming from Owen Sound, and you can see the passengers loading up. And what's going to happen is this Pacific most likely will be picking up this car here, which is probably a mail car or a baggage car from Wyerton. It's going to pick that up, add it to its consist, and then head on south to Palmerston, and then on to the trains. Mainly went to, you know, London, Hamilton, Toronto, big cities like that. And I believe, we'll just double check. Oh, yeah, that is the end of the slideshow. So I just had this at the end just to kind of explain things. So mine's a little bit backwards, as I said earlier, but basically you'll be going this way to go to Palmerston, which is backwards. So a little bit of modeling license, but I don't think that's a big deal. So that, folks, is pretty well the end of Parkhead. I hope you guys like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just got to move a few things around here so I can see you guys. So Sparky's saying, yes, I do have the same book. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this up so you guys can see too what's going on. But this is nice too for when people are watching the replay, so they don't feel left out. They can kind of see what's happening in the chat and what I'm talking to and what you guys are talking about. Thanks, Vinny. Vinny's saying, I wouldn't worry about the windows as long as you capture the essence. Thanks, Vinny. And that's what I remember before saying, it's a prototypical railway, but it's a loose prototypical. So I wouldn't go as far as calling it freelance because it's really not. But I'm bending some rules. And there's Scrumptious. Harrison, how are you? SMT Mainline. I didn't see you come in. How are you, man? And James is saying the same thing there. Benny, it's your railroad. As long as you catch the feeling of the area, that's all that counts. And that's what I'm going for. It's honestly, I think when it's done, it's gonna be a pretty close model. And it is. Yes, it's missing a couple windows, but. So Sparky's asking, what about the ice cream store? Are you gonna model that also? No, Sparky. The ice cream store on the highway, I do want to model that highway, but I don't know if I'm going to have room. And the problem is, shoot, I erased that picture. I had it on this part before, but I got rid of it. The problem is it's so close between Parkhead and Shallow Lake on this section that I don't know if I'm going to model a road. It might be better just to divide it up just with some scenery, like some trees or something, because then Shallow Lake's I want to capture, Shallow Lake was a very kind of almost like a swampy lake. It's very shallow, as you can know in the name, but it's kind of a swamp, and I want to kind of be able to tie that in as soon as I can. So I don't think I'll model the ice cream store. Dave BNS saying Proto Lance, and to me it's a little more prototypical than Proto Lance. That's my opinion. Like, I'm modeling all the trains, all the paperwork, all the locomotives. It's pretty, the track plan is pretty well, like Chesley's identical, or pretty well close identical. So it's pretty close. Randy's saying there's always room for ice cream. Somebody's saying hi to Joelle. Hey Joelle, how are you? Good to see you. It's always room for ice cream. And Vinny said agreed. So guys, I have something kind of funny for you planned tonight. It's something new on this show. So just keep in mind, it's supposed to be a little bit humorous, so don't get too upset. Let me just run the intro, okay? Here we go.
Welcome to The Rant, where I talk about things that make me angry. Warning, you may get offended. You may want to unfollow. You may even need meditation. And for that, I'm sorry. Why am I sorry? I guess because I'm Canadian. Canadians say sorry. And speaking of that, why am I talking in this voice? I guess to show you that I'm angry. Welcome to The Rant.
So I hope you guys like that. When you do something and you instantly regret it? This should be pretty funny, but this is my rant section. So I'm going to do this one because sometimes I see some things just in the communities and on Facebook and in magazines and stuff that make me mad, and on YouTube. And so I encourage you all, you're absolutely free and open to argue back with me. That's totally fine. Just try to keep the language, don't swear and stuff, but you can absolutely disagree with me. I don't mind. But I'm going to get into my little rant here. So what I want to talk about, Jerry, I'm laughing at you because is that my alter ego? I think it was, yes. What I want to talk about is this COPPA thing, okay? And what I'm going to, and you're probably all going, oh my God, I've heard enough of this. It just doesn't end. And I totally agree with you. But I have a different opinion on this, and that's why I want to share it with you this evening, this whole COPPA business, COPPA, whatever you call it. I think you're going to be a little bit surprised with my perspective on it. I first saw this on Crooked River and Eastern's show. Dave wasn't really talking about it, but it was being talked about in the chat. Sparky brought it up, and some people were going on. And that's when I first heard about it. Sparky put up a link to go watch the YouTube video, so I did, and I kind of came up with my own opinion. I had an opinion kind of as soon as I heard it, and I kind of knew what this was about, but it's different from what other people are saying. So a lot of people are really upset. They're saying they're going to shut down their channels. They say they're done with YouTube. This is, they're losing their minds. They're all upset. My opinion is I completely disagree with that. I'm actually for the new rule, and I think it's a good idea. And I'm going to tell you why right now. My first point, I want to start with ads and children. The first thing that I think we need to understand is when you are on YouTube, you Most of you already know this, but some of you may not. You're constantly being monitored by cookies, by software that's tracking every one of your moves, what you're clicking on, what you're watching. Why? YouTube is owned by Google. All of this has to do with ads, AdSense, and monetization. All right, John Dilly, it's good to see you. Take care. I was going to bring you up later because you're an example of mine. We'll see you later, Grandpa Rails. Have a good night. But anyways, it's all about ads, and it's monitoring for ads. So what happened, long story short, FTC found that YouTube was tracking children. And that's wrong. And I mean, you can have an opinion, yes or no, if you think that's right or wrong. But to me, that is wrong. And something needs to be done about it. So there's that. One point of that is I find you shouldn't even be putting ads to children and trying to make money off of them, where you can't anyways, because they can't go out and buy things. But second of all, there has been some content that I have seen that's been completely inappropriate from the ad side for children. And I'm going to give you a personal example. As you guys know, I'm a father, and we watch what our daughter's watching all the time. So long story short, we put on YouTube for Millie, and she's watching it, and it's little baby stuff, head, shoulders, knees and toes, stuff like that, Care Bears, and sing-along songs. All of a sudden I hear this weird music, and I look in, and it's a promotion for a movie about strippers. Now, to most of us, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty tame compared to what we see these days. But to a 4-year-old little girl, I was really pissed off when I saw this. Really mad. This is the first time she's been ever exposed to anything sexual like that, and it made me so angry. Here's where it gets worse. It not only happened once, twice, but happened 3 times on these little children's shows. These ads were coming on for stripper movies with girls in lingerie and just wearing thongs and bras. Good for some people, but not for little kids, right? So that's the big thing. It's a big problem. Another thing is what I said earlier is, so it's not only the content of the ads, it's also the kids can't buy anything. So there's no point in showing it to them. So there's somebody else that's going to be upset there as well. Who's going to be upset? The advertisers. And I don't want to take, big corporate companies, I don't want to take their side, but at the end of the day, they're paying for a service. They're paying to have their commercials on the monetized channels. So what's happening is you really need to go and take a look at these kids shows, this content that is intended for children. Take a look and you'll see what's really going on. There's these shows made for children, and the kids don't know what they're doing. They just watch it, and YouTube just keeps plugging it, and they're plugging all these ads and ads and ads. Look at the views. You think people like Luke Towan have a lot of views? Look at the views on some of these channels. It's in the millions upon millions of views and millions and millions and millions of subscribers. Imagine the ad revenue being paid out to these channels. Just really think about it. These people are making money hand over fist, and it's not even making the advertisers money. It's not making anybody money because it's going to little kids. That to me is what this is really about. And I'm sorry, I kind of got to side with the advertisers and YouTube on this. It's not really fair to them. How would you feel if you went to buy something and you got ripped off? That's kind of what's happening here. So my next point, I got a few points here, so I'm trying to go through it, is, a lot of people are talking about, us, model railroaders, because we're family friendly. So here's where my point is on this. There is a big difference between family friendly and what's made for kids. Okay? So honestly, number one, model railroading isn't for kids. And there's one little problem I do have is the age. 13 is too old to prohibit from watching model railroad videos, because I got into model railroading when I was around 11 or 12, I believe it was. But unfortunately, it's the FTC has that guideline of what a kid is. And what you got to remember is 13, think of PG-13. So what's appropriate to see nudity and stuff? And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, like, well, kids are so desensitized today. But I mean, good luck going and changing the law on that. That part of it sucks. I wish it was a little younger for the model railroading side, but at the end of the day, they got to draw the line somewhere, and unfortunately, it is 13. So, as they said, if you do make a video, you have a choice. Is it made for kids or is it not? Everybody's trying to make this gray, but it's really black and white. I'm sorry, guys, to say it, but it is. Is it made for kids or is it not? Pretty well everybody on here, it's not made for kids, okay? Just put it not for kids. If you've got your train and you got it singing a song going, hand, shoulder, knees, and toes, with your chains, and you're making them talk and stuff, okay, that's going to be made for kids. So then what happens with that if it is made for kids? Well, you lose some rights. You're going to lose the comments. But why are you losing the comments? Because you can't be interacting with little kids. It's totally inappropriate, okay? And I shouldn't have to sit here and explain why it's inappropriate for adults to be communicating with little kids from around the world, okay? It sucks. It sucks that it has to be like that because there's so many creeps and weirdos out there, but that's the way it is. Okay, I'll give you a little example. A good friend of mine, he's got his son, he's an up and rising pop star. They're putting a lot of money into his music. He's really good. And they're giving him kind of this Justin Bieber look, right? His music's geared towards, little girls his age and the boys his age, and that's what it's for. Guess who most of his fans are on YouTube? It's middle-aged men. And he started this when he's 14. So I don't mean to be a buzzkill or like be a downer, but we really do need to be careful with the children, okay? And I'm telling you, there's been a number of times that I've been wanting to bring in Millie and my family and introduce her. And because there's a part on there that says, are kids in the show, right? But again, I could bring my daughter and introduce you to you guys, but that's still not intended for kids. It's still an adult show, so I don't see a problem with that. Another one is Grandpa Rails when he shows his kids. It's still an adult show, okay? I don't see any problem with that. I think everybody's overreacting. I don't think it's a big deal. Make your channel safe. And be sure to put your channel on not made for kids. Sparky put up the video on another one. You can get the link. It's right on your channel. I'm sure you guys all have it. But yeah, just make your channel not for kids. It's not worth it. And from now on, make sure you go back and make sure you don't have content made for kids. But I highly doubt you guys do. Now, one area, I know I'm saying everything is black and white. A gray area is somebody like Toyman Television. You watch his show. As soon as it turns on, you see that cartoon rocket ship comes in like, "Rrr." Now that's something right there. You might, that could be made for kids, and it's called Toyman Television. I don't know, and he's showing toys. But as soon as the show starts, it's obviously made for adults. So even somebody like Toyman Television, I'd make the channel not for kids. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's about protecting the children. That's what I care about most of all. And I think if everybody just took a step back and looked at it that way and looked at it from an advertiser's point of view and from YouTube's point of view, and even you guys that are monetized, this is going to free up so much revenue for the people that actually deserve it. And I don't mean to be mean, but if you watch some of these videos, honestly, go on. Some of them are people like this. With slime. And they have 50 million views. And they have AdSense, and they're monetized, and they're making money hands over fist. So, who are they making that money off of? Little kids. But they're not making the money. They're not making the money for anybody. So I don't feel right about it. to me, it's kind of exploiting children to make a quick and easy buck. That's it, guys. That is the end of
The Rant.
So that's it. And we're back to the nice music. So anyways, I was kind of going off there. So some people put some good things in here. So here's Scrumptious. And Scrumptious, you're one I thought of too, because you have a younger audience as well. The biggest issue I have with this, your content doesn't have to be made for kids, but if someone enjoy it, even if they're the minority, we're still going to get sideswiped. And this was something else I should have mentioned too, is like, little kids can still watch your channel, but they should be watching your channel like how my daughter does. She watches it through my profile. I don't think these little children should even have YouTube profiles. I think that's really dangerous. You don't know, like when you leave the kids in the back of the car and they got their headphones on, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know who they're interacting with. You know what I mean? So people are saying, well, it's family friendly and the kids can't. Well, they can still watch it. They should just watch it on the adult's profile. That's my opinion anyways. So Sparky said, so marketing for kids, YouTube should be able to place appropriate ads. Now the chat and comments, okay, I can see that then. And Sparky, apparently that's what they are doing. So they're not completely being demonetized, these children's channels, but they're going to have more appropriate ads. It's going to be more like toy ads and stuff like that, right? They're going to show, toys and maybe, theme parks and stuff like that. Stuff more appropriate. Kids movies, not stripper movies. Dave says it's really sad what this world is coming to, and it is. It is. I totally agree with you. We agree with you, man. It's sad that this has to happen because there's so many creeps out there, and that's what this is really about. Creeps and money. Sparky, the people that sucks for are the channels that cater to kids now. They won't make money like they once did. And that was from Jerry. And that's the thing, Jerry, it does suck for them because the gravy train's going to be over for them. They're now going to have to make money the fair way, in my opinion. They're going to have stuff that's appropriate. They're not going to be able to have adult ads and be making money. This happened a few years ago. I watched a show about it. There used to be, I forget what the name of it was, but there was a bunch of girls that would go and review video games, and they put a thumbnail of themselves wearing a bikini top or like just a bra. And what would happen is people would click on it. It was clickbait. They'd click on it, boom, 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 boom. They'd get millions of views by people watching these girls. They wouldn't even do anything. They'd just make a stupid comment about the video over, but it'd get so many views. They're making money hand over fist. YouTube had to shut that down. And this is very similar to that. It really is. It's just different. It's people making money off of kids now, because you see my daughter, she just runs it constantly. It's running all the time when she's out there. So Wilmer says he agrees with us. Thank you, Wilmer. Gaffa says, I disagree, Benny. If the FDA consider it to be attractive to those under 13 and therefore may watch it, it will be flagged and you may be fined regardless of whether you register it as not for kids. See, and we can agree to disagree on a Gaffa. Like, it's got to be something that it has to be made for kids for it to get flagged. Like, I think if a couple kids click on it, I don't know. I think if you really look at it from a black and white point of view, is this video for kids or not? If you did get flagged and you were charged, I think you'd have a pretty strong case whether it was for kids or not. That's just my opinion. I agree, Jaron. I feel for those channels if they actually are making videos, not just copying TV shows. You're going, oh, that was up there. Okay. We have no control over ads that are placed, and Dave, that's a good point. And that's the problem, and that's what YouTube got charged for. The other thing I think we have to remember too, and just like that, when we say we have no control over the ads that are placed, you got to remember, everybody on here right now, all of us, myself, Sparky, Wilmer, Gaffa, Jerry, everybody on here, John 2618, whether you show your face or not, you are a public television personality. You are. And with that comes responsibility. So you do need to be careful. And so with this, be careful. Be careful about the content that you're putting out. Just, that's all I'm going to say. Look what just happened to Don Cherry. Let's see if it goes crazy here. Okay, so it hid this here. So CDP said, my 11-year-old granddaughter watches my videos, but she don't have an account because her mom won't let her have one at her age, but she's able to watch with no account. So hard to tell how old she is. And that's the part. So she's probably watching it on, like I said to do, like that's how it should be done. Exactly right there. An 11-year-old could maybe, it's not up to me. I'm not her parent, but a child can still watch you, but just watch it through their parents' account. You know what I mean? Another point I wanted to make is, you know, like I have a few nephews that are digging the trains, and they love YouTube, and they wanted to be on my show. And even before all this happened, I had to really think about it, because there's another issue. I'm not monetized, so it wouldn't be a problem. But if I ever were monetized in the future, and that video came out of the children, and you're making money off that, you're into some child labor issues as well. There's so many things to think about here, and be careful. Remember, this is a public platform. You're exposed to the public, so you gotta be careful. All right, so Sparky said, and Gaffa, kids can click on anything, anytime. They're looking if you do a video for kids, say a train review close to Christmas, and during the review you say. Okay, kids, go tell your parents to get you in. Now you are in violation. To go get you a train set, Sparky? That's the thing, Sparky. I don't think it's going to be that cut and dry. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't see it. So, we'll get off that subject for now. I'm surprised nobody had any comments back about Don Cherry. So, what I wanted to show you guys was something that I didn't show you earlier. It's this here. This is something I got years ago from my mom. And this is way before I ever planned on modeling Parkhead. But it's a drawing. It's done by a guy in Port Elgin. It's a drawing of the station in Parkhead. So it's pretty cool. I've had that for years. And so like I said, I got that way before I ever planned. I didn't even know the station looked like that until I saw that drawing. I thought, that's so cool. Just add only if you're over 13. So Scrumptious said, I don't like Spider-Man and Elsa Chan on Morris, Jake, and Logan Paul, but innocent people are probably going to take out along the way. I hope this doesn't turn out. So who knows? I think Tom explained it very good. I'm going to go check out. I started watching that tonight, and I'm going to go check it out too. It'll be that cut and dry for a little while until they fine-tune the rules. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. Yeah, and like people are afraid they're going to get charged, you know, $42,000 and everything. I can't see that unless you're really. I really think they're going after these people that are legitimately making these kids videos, and they're monetized and making money off of it. And so what's happening is it's also being tracked by cookies for the advertising. But if you have a channel that, you know, that's more for adults or even family friendly, it's not intended for kids. It's not like you're making it Sesame Street. That's why computers have password protection. Kids can't use computer if they can't get it open. Just one way to keep them out. Parents' jobs for 13 and younger to keep them safe, not FTC or anyone. It's a good point, Ken. COPPA has been around since 1989. The rules have always been there, but I still think it is YouTube that has to watch where they place the ads. Well, that is true, Sprite. Like that thing that I saw when Millie was watching, like that was so bad. It was so bad. She had never seen anything like that, and boom, thanks YouTube. So I'm thinking this should stop that, because how you're asking an algorithm to do it, right? So this makes it easy for everyone. It's not appropriate, so we're not going to put those kinds of ads on it. Who has say on what type of ads run on your channel? Well, that's a good question, Jerry. That's probably the question, and to me, it's probably an algorithm, is my guess. So that's why they're doing it. You can't have a person going through every video, what do they say? It's like 1 billion videos are uploaded, or so 1 billion videos are watched, and something like 1 million videos every 5 minutes are uploaded, something crazy like that. So they have algorithms that place those ads. This is gonna fix that, hopefully. Those big fines are for people actually breaking the rules and trying to get around the rules. That's by Dwayne. Yeah. When we're saying Blippi. Blippi's awesome. Blippi's great. I don't know if you've seen Blippi's on Amazon now. He's on Amazon. They just took his straight YouTube videos and put them on Amazon Prime now. It's crazy. Blippi's made for kids. So if Blippi made his channel not for kids, he'd be getting a big fine. That's the point here. And so now the ads on Blippi's channel will be directed towards children. Look it up. Wilmer drives me crazy when the youngsters wanted to watch him cuss. It was funny. Blippi's not even that bad. Blippi's he's okay compared to some of them are really annoying. I'm sorry to say, but it's really irritating. Do you think I'll be safe? Nora saying, Sparky107, do you think I will be safe as I took your word last week and marked not for kids? So you're asking Sparky, in my opinion, Nora, yes, you should absolutely be doing that. I've watched your show. You're not making a show for kids. Like I said, if you're sitting there with teddy bears and a guitar and singing lullabies and, you know what I mean? And if you have trains talking to each other with eyeballs on them like Thomas the Tank Engine, then that's made for kids, but you're not making stuff for kids. So to me, it's not that gray. To me, it's pretty black and white. Are you making stuff for kids or not? So just say you're not. You're good. And Sparky's saying it too. Yes, everyone should go that way, Nora. Yes. Semi-educational. Blippi? Yeah, Blippi's good. Sparky's saying, watch Tom's Trains and Things. He explains it very well. Nora says, okay. Thanks. CDP 1965. Thank you, sir. So, my point with it is, and okay, so Sparky, I wasn't sure, Sparky, if you agreed or not. So it looks like we do agree. It is black and white. It really is. Everyone has to stop looking so deep into it, and that's how I feel about it. I think everybody's overreacting. There is. Don't get me wrong. There's some little things like, yeah, we have trains. They can be considered toys. But you watch my show. It's not for kids. It's not for kids at all. Look at model trains. Model trains are super expensive. They're super delicate. You know, I freak out when people call my trains toys. They're models. It's like I said, if your channel is directed at kids, you better market for kids. And yeah, because if you don't, that's where you could get fined. And you should be, because you're luring children to make money. To me, that's what it's really about. Gotta say, my 5-year-old loves trains, especially model trains, so my train content will be for kids. Sorry, plain truth. Gaffa! Out of everybody on here, you guys, your show is the last thing appropriate for kids. You better be careful. Well, there's a channel I watch. The creator does have train similar faces, but I can tell you it's definitely not kid-friendly. So if it's not kid-friendly, yeah, if they're swearing and stuff, then yeah, it's not for kids. It's pretty easy, guy. To me, it's not that big of a deal. And I think, so every time, I think if people went and looked at some of these kids' channels, content that's made for kids, and you see what's going on there, I think it'll make a little bit more sense to you. To me, it's pretty obvious. Just because I have a young one, right? I see it every day. I'm not saying, you know, yeah. Sparky said, case closed, not for kids. Good. Okay, that's the end of it. Thank you, guys. That was my first rant of the show. I'm sure I'll do stuff that's even more controversial later. But yeah, that's it. That's my rant. I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't think it's a big deal. Got a train channel, model train channel, make it not for kids and leave it at that. Okay, guys. So if you guys want to go ahead and start promoting your channels, I know Wilmer's got a contest. Anybody else have any contests that they want to put, or somebody else's contest, throw it on up there. That'd be cool, and show your subscribers and anything that's coming out. Why are you naked? Good to see you, man. I forget where I think I saw you on Vinny's show. Now, I haven't been on Vinny's show a lot lately, and I think that's where I saw you. So welcome, my friend. Okay, Nora's at 933, almost at 1,000. Scrumptious said, if kids watch Gaffa's channel, kids would learn many new words. Oh, Gaffa, I didn't know you had a separate train channel. So Gaffa, if you have a separate train channel, like, that could be for kids. It's up to you. You just don't put... Yeah, if they're separate, it doesn't matter. Alright, so... Vinny's at 3540. Dwayne is at 102. CDP 1965 is at 114. Jerry's at 302. Wilmer's at 545. It's crazy how fast Wilmer's moving up. It's awesome. John 2618, another really good channel. 1686. And John, I got halfway through your Big Bill interview. I still got to finish it. I had to run out when I was watching it, but so far it was looking really good. What you did on what's that show called now? I wish they didn't change the name of it. But who's Big Bill talking to? Do you guys have that squeal? I have a crazy squeal in my headphones. I don't know if you guys have it or not. So, DNRG is at 330, SMT is at 4240, James is at 239, Randy's at 272, Ken's at 56. Okay, so if you guys all have the squealing, I'm gonna shut it down. Sorry guys, we'll see yous later. Take care.